Professor Lawson here, and I want to do this video on from a legal and standpoint on why I believe you have to be wary of what's going on in Georgia and why I have to call bullshit on District Attorney Barnhill's decision not to initially charge Gregory McMichael and his son Travis McMichael with the murder of our brother Ahmuad Arbery for simply being black and jogging on a street in Georgia in broad daylight, right? And it was just gunned down and killed. You saw the video by now. And you know as well as I do, after you watch the video, the first thought is, why weren't these guys charged with murder? I mean, they're hunting him down like he's a runaway slave. Right? And so initially, prior to the video being made public, District Attorney Barnhill, District Attorney Barnhill, this is his letter, because I'm going to get to it in a second, tries to explain legally why. Same thing that happened with George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin, when George Zimmerman killed unarmed Trayvon Martin, right? And they initially didn't charge Zimmerman with murder. Same thing that happens here. But I wanted to explain to you the legal rationale and why it's bullshit on why District Attorney Barnhill initially says he wasn't going to charge. And I also want to tell you a little bit later before I leave you why this decision, now that the videos come out and everybody's seen, y'all trying to hide this underneath the rug, and they say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to send it to the grand jury. Well, that's a trick bag too. And if you remember Ferguson and the Michael Brown case, you'll understand why I'm saying sending it to the grand jury, right, to quiet everybody down, is some bullshit. But let's get back to why. And for those that don't know me, I teach criminal law here at the University of William S. Richardson School of Law in Hawaii. University of Hawaii, William S. Richardson School of Law, I should say. And I also practiced criminal defense for 18 years, but let's get to it. So here's what he's saying. He being District Attorney Barnhill, prior to the video coming out. Now, he had the video, right? And when he does this letter, and here's what he says. He says, look, Gregory McMichael, who also used to be a former investigator for the district attorney's office, so they know this guy and they're friends with him, and his son, that Gregory McMichael and Travis, neither of them have a prior criminal record, so they're allowed to open carry firearms in Georgia in broad daylight, right? So you've seen enough of that over the last few years. So them doing that is legal, right? Now, in Georgia, if you believe that you have probable cause that someone has committed a crime, right, you can make an arrest as a citizen. So they're saying, okay, now, and McMichael says, well, we believed, what did he say? He said, we believed that he was a suspect, he being brother Arbery was a suspect in burglaries that had been happening. And where does he say this at? Here's his version. I'm going to read it to you real quick, because you need to understand this now so you understand what's coming at you in the future. And you can see what their legal arguments is. And once you understand what they're trying to argue, you'll be able to push back on the bullshit. So I'm going to give you the legal knowledge to understand why it is what they're telling you is some bullshit. So here is Gregory McMichael, the father's version of what happened. After the shooting, Gregory McMichael told police he saw the same man the other night, and that he stuck his hand down his pants on that occasion, leading McMichael to believe he was armed. Now, first of all, even if he saw that the other night, he's full of I don't believe it, but let's for the sake of argument, let's say he saw it. That he saw this guy the other night, Brother Arbery, put his hand down his pants, right? Okay, fine, that's the other night. What makes you think now that he's armed? But that's beside the point, okay? So he sees Brother Arbery the next day or a few days later. He said the other night, so I don't know when, but so leading McMichael to believe that he was armed. And so after seeing Arbery jogging, McMichael then called his son Travis, according to the police report. And then he says to Travis, the guy's running down the street, let's go. The two grabbed a shotgun and a pistol and followed Arbery in their truck. Followed him. They chased him. Travis McMichael, the driver, followed Arbery and then attempted to cut him off, right? So now they hunting this guy down. Arbery turned around and began running in the opposite direction, the police say. Now Arbery's trying to get away from him, right? They chased Arbery to a nearby intersection. When they caught up to him, the report said, stop, we want to talk to you. right? Travis McMichael then exited the truck with the shotgun. His father told officers Arbery violently attacked my son, the report said. And that was the reason why the son ends up killing him. So now what they're trying to say is that y'all went hunting. And the only evidence you had was he was a black guy running down the street. You claim you saw him the other night put his hands down his pants. And right? Okay, so what? Did you see him commit a crime? No. So the other night you didn't see him commit a crime? No. And so what's your probable cause for stopping him? Because you saw him the other night? And so again, when this DA sits here and says, man, he says, well, look, they had probable cause. My screen behind me went out, and I got to keep Brother Arbery's picture up. And so when because we need justice for him. So when look, you can't. The Florida law doesn't allow you to just go arrest somebody based on your hunch, right? Based on your own subjective belief that, hey, that person looked like they up to something. You got to have facts. What facts do you have, McMichael? You were an investigator in the office of the prosecutor. What are your facts that shows us objectively why you believe this man, this brother, had been engaged in criminal activity? You didn't have none. You didn't have none, right? And so for this Barnhill district attorney, what he's trying to do is say, okay, they were legally carrying guns. That's fine. Florida says you can stop and arrest a person if you, as a citizen, if you believe they committed a crime. Okay, where's the evidence of that? And since you didn't have probable cause, right, so then they say, okay, now they're trying to stop him, but then Arbery becomes the aggressor. He tries to attack young Travis and take the gun. And now Travis has to defend himself. Remember, this is some Trayvon Martin, same old bullshit. Same old stuff, man. Hey, and so again, so now what they're saying is, so now they're saying, Arbery, now you are the aggressor. And so now young Travis has no choice but to shoot and kill you. Therefore, it's lawful self-defense. That's what this guy's saying in his letter. And here's what I want you to watch out for. Remember Michael Brown and Ferguson? They sent that case to the grand jury. In the grand jury, y'all not allowed to see, none of us allowed to see what goes. The grand jury is secret. The only person allowed in there are the witnesses and the prosecutor. The defense lawyer ain't allowed in there. The lawyer for Brother Arbery ain't allowed in there. It's just the prosecutor. So the prosecutor puts the witnesses on the stand. They put Gregory McMichael on the stand. What's going to happen? We were acting in self-defense, right? If Gregory McMichael and his son go to the grand jury and take the stand, but I can tell you right now, it's a game. And I'm going to tell you why. No defense lawyer who has a client that's suspected of committing a murder would ever allow that person to go talk to the grand jury, because the defense lawyer is not allowed in there with his client. So that means McMichael goes in there on his own, subjected to the prosecutor asking him questions in front of a grand jury. And the only thing a grand jury is doing is this. They're deciding two probable cause issues. Is there probable cause to believe that a felony has been committed? What's the felony? A murder. Is there probable cause to believe that McMichael and his sons are the ones that committed that murder? Yes. Bang, indicted for murder. That's all that happens in there, right? But the defense lawyer is not allowed in there. And so as I practiced criminal law for 18 years, and I was damn good at it. If I had a client who was suspected of committing murder or charged with murder, and the prosecutor come, hey, we want to know if you want to let your client talk to me in front of the grand jury. The answer is no. No. Right? Remember the Fifth Amendment, anything you say can and will be used against you. If you see McMichael and his son going to this grand jury, hey, the fix is in. The only time I let a client of mine talk to the grand jury is when the prosecutors assured me, look, as soon as he comes in and says it, I can promise you that he's not going to be indicted. And that does happen, right? I represented people, shop owners who killed people in self-defense, right? And so the prosecutor told me, we know it was self-defense, we got to present it to the grand jury, right? And it gets presented, and my client, right? And it goes in there and talks to him. So if you see that happening, you know the fix is in. And go back to the Ferguson case. What happened in Ferguson with Michael Brown? Remember? The grand jury comes back with a no bill. And then that's when the riots erupted out there. Let me get back to this. And so again, when this Barnhill guy says, well, because when young Travis got out the truck and was saying stop, and then Arbery comes towards him and tries to take the gun, Arbery becomes the aggressor, therefore Travis is acting in self-defense. That's bullshit, and let me tell you why. You can't start a fight. You cannot be the initial aggressor and use unlawful force or show of force, start the fight, and then claim self-defense. Right? You can't keep pushing somebody, or you can't threaten to kill somebody. Man, I'm gonna kill you, right? And then that person starts attacking you, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I didn't know he was gonna take me serious, and then you stab him to death. You cannot do that and claim self-defense. When you claim self-defense, and so here's what I'm trying to tell you. When the prosecutor says that they had probable cause to stop to stop Arbery, that's a lie. All they have, they didn't have any evidence. He's black and he's jogging, that was it. The fact that Gregory McMichael is saying, well, I saw him the other day and he put his hand down his pants like he had it. What does that mean? How's that evidence of a crime? How does evidence of me scratching my balls, how's that evidence of a crime? Hey man, hey look, I'm supposed to be in my professor mode. So again, when they tell you this stuff, don't believe it. Don't believe it. This was murder. This was murder. The Georgia law does allow citizens to make the arrest, but you got to, you have to be able, you see a purse snatch. Somebody snatches an old lady's purse and you chase them down. You can arrest them. Why? Because you just saw evidence of a crime. So when the police get there and say, hey, why did you stop this man with this purse? Well, I saw him snatch the purse from grandma's hand. And she's trying to hold on to it, and he almost tore her arm out the socket, and he started running down the street, and she's yelling, stop him. And so I jumped on him, and I held him till you got here. Are those objective facts that give me probable cause to think he committed a crime? Yeah. Okay, now what do you have on this young brother, Arbery? When Ahmuad Arbery is running down, what do you have? Well, he's black and he's jogging. There's been a string of burglaries in our neighborhood. Okay, and so what makes you think he did it? Well, because he's black and he's jogging. How is that evidence of a crime? It's not. So don't listen to that, man. And when they tell you they're going to take this to the grand jury, hey, all you got to do is watch to see if Gregory McMichael and his son Travis go testify at that grand jury. Hey, the shit in the game. It's in there. There's no way. Go talk to any defense lawyer you want. There's no way when you investigate my client that I'm going to let him stand in front of you in front of the grand jury. I can't be in there to protect him or her. It ain't going to happen. Secondly, if you believe that why not charge him now? And see, normally you get charged with a felony. You charge him. Let's say that they saw him commit the murder. You saw him on video do it. Go arrest him for murder. Then you get charged with murder. Then it goes to the grand jury to determine if you should be indicted. They don't go to people's houses who committed murders and say, okay, well, we'll come back after the grand jury looks at this. This is some bullshit. I'm telling you, man. Now, I may be wrong. Maybe by the time the grand jury comes in, maybe they do charge him. And they should. But I'm telling you right now, you better be watching this stuff. Don't let them say, okay, we're going to send it to the grand jury, make you take your eye off the ball. Don't let it make you take your eye off the ball. All right, again, it's Professor Lawson. Like my channel, or like this video, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and watch my other videos. I got other videos on my channel about self-defense, stand your ground, and classes that I taught because of the COVID-19 pandemic to the public. All right, you guys take care of yourselves, take care of each other, but keep your eye on this case, man. Keep your eye on it.